Welcome back, you guys. I can't believe this is week number 5. I'm still going strong with it. As always, thank you everybody for your support and the love the last few weeks, and to everyone contributing stories. I literally could not be doing this without all of you guys. I mean, I could, it just wouldn't be nearly as fun. This week, I've decided to take a little bit more of a serious turn with some stories. I do promise that the more fun stories will be coming back. I just feel like it's a little bit necessary to cover some of the kind of darker sides to online dating and just dating in general as well. But mostly, I've been focusing more on my online dating portion because I don't exactly date normal dudes or meet people the normal way, like in a bar. So, it can't all be sunshine and rainbows all the fucking time. So this week I decided to tackle the topic of creepy people and the online dating world. Now, that does sound a little bit harsh, but there are absolutely people out there that just give off that creep vibe where they start off good and then get fucking batshit crazy and put off the insane vibe. I will fully admit that I can also do that. I, get a little bit emotional and react without thinking, and it will come across as batshit fucking insane. I'm a female, still have not mastered my emotions, and I'm, gonna be 30 soon, so, whatever. I do try to apologize for it, but sometimes that apology comes a little bit too late, and that person wants zero things to do with me, and I never hear from them again or get the chance to kind of explain my emotional outburst. Which has happened recently, and I'm not sure if he's still listening to these, so if so, I literally am super fucking sorry. I'm a dick. But no, truly, I am talking truly creepy shit. This is not an episode about my lack of tact when it comes to, explaining my emotional outbursts or just having emotional outbursts in general. But seriously, some creepy shit. I've seen many posts over the years talking about guys who started out with a nice conversation and then not after responding back, they get super aggressive and kind of downright scary. Now, I have been no stranger to the gross messages before. That has happened from guys over the years. It's funny too because I've had guys who will find me on the dating sites and then find me on all my other social media and message me there if I'm not responding to them on the dating sites. So it gets a little weird, especially when they locate my Facebook and then message me that way. And I didn't even, it gets a little weird. So, going from, I had a guy who thought I was an escort once and wanted to pay me for my time. I had a guy who the first message he sent me was that he wanted to bend me over a table. I also had a guy when I was first, kind of delving into the world of online dating years ago, asked me if he could share me with his gym buddy because apparently that was a thing that they did. Just so you know, I said no. I don't want to be shared. Like, come on, dude, really? But this story that I'm bringing this week is one that really sticks with me in my mind most from over the years. And I've never really had to block somebody before. From literally any dating site, I kind of just like ignore the messages. Or, I've never actually been so angry to the point where I've had to block somebody because they were just being downright super abusive to me through a message. Until this one dude. So I am just gonna kind of go right into it. Years ago, I was just kind of starting out dating. I had just gotten out of a long-term relationship that did not end well. The whole relationship was definitely not that great, and I really don't want to bore you with all of the details and get you going, oh no, that's horrible. I'm over it at this point. It's been a few years since it ended. But it was a bit of kind of like an emotionally abusive relationship, and the dude still like doesn't understand it, but whatever. Yeah. So anyways, I did manage to get out of it. I'm good. It's been like 3.5 years or so. So I started talking to a few guys because in my experience, a guy will either talk to me for a few days and then just, never hear from him again. Or, the guy will talk to me for a little while. And then we make plans to meet up. Something happens. The plan falls through. We never speak again. Usually it's my own stupidity, but whatever. Again, I'm super shit at dating and I'm really shit at keeping guys interested in me past a certain point. My personality itself can be a bit harsh for some men, and I tend to think and react emotionally and then regret it later because I was a dickhole. I'm not fucking perfect. But anyways, I was talking to this guy and things were going really good. He was cute. He seemed relatively normal. We were talking perfectly fine. I gave him my phone number. He added me to Snapchat. This is like when I first, well, this is like a first adding back to Snapchat. I used to have Snapchat a while ago. I deleted it. Then I got it back, whatever. So anyways, yeah, things were going great to start. Anyways, soon his messages got way more frequent and he would get super pissy with me if I didn't respond quick enough. Now, as I've mentioned, I'm a busy person. At the time, I was working multiple jobs and trying to figure out my life post split and just trying to honestly navigate as a person, especially a person on my own. So I would respond to him, tell him I've been busy, and let him know, but none of this seemed to placate him at all. Um, he started to get a lot more aggressive with his messages. He would call me a bitch. He would call me a bunch of names and then try to be a nice guy right afterwards. He was trying to be dominant through text. So I'm more of a submissive person, but not through talking in conversations. That's not my thing. I have my own opinions. I will tell you to go fuck off. My favorite thing on the internet I've seen is I've probably already met my soulmate and told him to go fuck himself. It's true. So he would start to get a lot more aggressive with his messages. Like it was bad. He's, honestly, it was just super fucking rude. And I started to get a little concerned. And, especially with someone who like starts getting wicked. I literally had been talking to this guy for a few weeks and he was getting super possessive and a little bit on the fucking crazy side. So finally he just kept messaging me every few minutes and would get super pissed off at me if I didn't respond back fast enough. And I finally had enough. I blocked him. No worry, no warning, no nothing. And usually I try to like warn people ahead of time, be like, listen, if you don't knock it off, I'm gonna block you. This one, I just literally was like, no, I can't. And I was like, all right, I wanted to take myself out of this situation because I was getting a little bit nervous, especially with the way he was talking to me. It was just like super concerning to me. And I thought everything, all right, cool, we're done. No. He messaged me on the dating app I was on, which I did not even think to block him on. And he started laying into me about how I was a huge bitch. I let him on, that he thought I liked him being that aggressive and him telling me what to do. So again, like I said, here's the thing. You can tell me what to do in the bedroom, but absolutely fucking not outside of the bedroom. That I am absolutely not okay with. I'm still me. I still like my freedom and independence. So finally I told him, no, I did not like the way he was super aggressive and that I was not okay with being talked like that. And he responded with, well, that was your mistake, bitch. I'm going to share all your pictures and videos that you sent online. So I was completely fucking shocked, and no one has ever threatened to share my shit online before. I mean, right now, if someone would do that, I'd be like, it's whatever, because I've kind of grown thick skin over the years. But back then, I was scared. I didn't want my shit out there. And yeah, I understand I took them and I shared them with a person, but this still does not give anyone the right to share that with the world at all. I don't care what your opinion is on that. I would never openly share someone's private pictures that they sent me with the world. Yes, I've said that if you're a guy and I'm seeing you, that my friends have seen your dick, that's usually because the dick pic that I've been sent is usually when I'm around my friends and they've seen it. Or, I think it's an amazing looking dick and I just can't keep it to myself. Again, I'm really sorry. Not every dick pic that I've gotten sent has been shared with my friends. I do have some that I've been sent that like I've kept to myself. But I would never, ever, ever share that shit online. I don't care how badly you pissed me off. I'm not going to share that shit with everyone and air it out. That's just fucking rude. So I freaked out and I told him that was absolutely a low blow. And if he does that, I will find a way to make him pay. I was livid. He did not give a shit. He messaged me hours later apologizing, saying he was sorry and that he was angry and blah, blah, blah. So I explained that what he was doing is blackmail and it was absolutely not fucking okay. And that using a person's emotions and also threatening to expose their most personal pictures all over the internet was absolutely not okay. So I blocked him after that. I did block him off that. So the dating site years later, and actually this was not that long ago, maybe I want to say 4 or 5 months ago ish, he actually found me again on the same dating site and sent me a message. He said he honestly did not remember who I was. I have different hair now than what I used to, but my face hasn't changed. So I politely messaged him back and said, listen, you've tried to talk to me before, and the last time you did, you were extremely rude and scary. I do not want to talk to you. He did apologize and said he didn't recognize me. And of course, like, it's funny too, because I had somebody share with me like their own stuff. And dude, this guy has talked to a couple other people and he was the same way. He was super scary and aggressive with them too. So I'm not going to air his name out as much as I fucking want to because he's a piece of shit, but I'm not going to because, you know, like I said, I don't want to share names on this podcast. But it is a story that I will never forget. I've had many guys over the years just send me horrible messages if I don't respond. I've had many people continuously message me even after I say I'm not interested. Not all my experiences have been bad. I've met quite a lot of good friends over the years, but the bad experiences really stick in my head. And in this day and age with people fucking murdering people over dates, I think it's super important to talk to. You know, I don't ever want to feel unsafe around someone. And if I'm uncomfortable in a message before I even meet this person, I absolutely will not meet up with them. I really don't exactly fancy getting murdered. I like my life. This actually is a story that I've only shared with a really like 1 or 2 people just because it really was a super bad experience for me. And I don't like to tend to share that kind of shit with everybody, but I did want this podcast to be an open book for sharing, which, you know, that was the point. So this kind of leads me into some stories that I've gathered from around. And as usual, you know, I ask people for their stories on each topic each week, and I've had a lot of response from just kind of asking. I'll post it off my Instagram. I post it off of Facebook. I am now asking in the videos just to kind of send me a message. You know, it's really cool. I love seeing them. It's great. More and more stories just keep coming in, and sometimes I get them a little after I've already recorded, but I love seeing them, and I'm thinking of using them in like a later episode. I'm really thinking of doing one of those just kind of like listener stories and none of my own. That way we can take a break from listening to me talk about my ridiculous sex shit and letting others tell stories. I might bring a guest on during that time, but it's kind of still on the works. So I asked the question around for any crazy stories of things that have happened to them. And it's, you know, creepy shit with dating or just horrible experiences that are just not funny. And thankfully people were super open to sharing with me. So thank you guys so fucking much for that. The best part has been that it hasn't just been from girls. I've been getting guys contributing as well, which is just super fucking cool. I love hearing both sides, and being a girl myself, I know the downfalls of being a female and trying to date. So it's kind of nice to hear that guys are also having some similar experiences. So I'm going to just share a couple stories with some pretty fucking cool individuals that shared stuff with me. This first story is actually from a guy. He goes, I have a story for you. I once had a girl message me on OkCupid, and she was like 19. And at the time he was in his late 20s. He's like, so anyways, as a dude in his late 20s, I knew I wouldn't really have much in common with her beyond some core interests. So I politely declined with my normal line, "I'm sorry about your princes in another castle. Please try another user." Honestly, that's fucking hysterical. So he continues, usually gets a laugh, and I do follow up with kind words to kind of ease the rejection. Well, I guess she got super pissed. Like, legit, dude, I don't know who wronged her, but rage was potent. Called me every name in the book, including a racist because she was a different skin color. I responded to her explaining my situation, why I felt the way I did, and that I had even less interest now that she's essentially trying to drag my name in the mud. So she kept at it, so I blocked her. Not the first time it's happened, but it's definitely the most scathing. So that's crazy. See, I don't normally even think about getting, girls getting crazy over being rejected, but I mean, it does happen, as evidenced by this story. If I get rejected, I try to be a normal human being and move on from my life. People aren't always going to be interested in you, and I've learned that through many years of dating. You're not always going to be attractive to someone, or you're just not going to end up clicking, or you can be like me, have your mouth run, and then the guys run the other fucking direction. But, we all have our flaws. And I'm changing up how I'm telling the stories this time. Usually I try to, for me, tell it, and it's like, oh yeah, this guy said this and he said this, but I think this time I'm actually, gonna read it from their point of view just because I can. So next up is just this crazy write-up story, and these last couple are from girls. Actually, these are from females. That I think that first story is really the only guy story that I got for this podcast. Anyways, the last few have had quite a few dudes message me. They're ridiculous stories. So started talking to this guy when I was 18. I'm not going to use the names because there are names in here, so I'm just gonna kind of like skip over them a little bit. So I really loved his sweet, sensitive voice. So we met in February. He was supposed to, so they met in a chat room on AOL. So this is a while ago. They started talking on the phone for about a month later. The voice thing, they met in February. He was supposed to take her to her prom, but canceled last minute. So I didn't go either. He was supposed to come up for my graduation, but didn't. One night I got a page, and she goes, haha, pagers, from his neighbor. She told me that, he wasn't this guy, and wasn't a male, but a female, and her name was a different name. I was confused because I didn't know what to believe, but I sent a page to him or her and was like, whatever your name is, blah, blah. Well, the truth came out. In fact, she was a female and her name was, this name. At this point, I was super confused because I didn't think I was gay or bi or whatever, but online and on the phone, I came to have really deep feelings for this person. I decided I needed to go meet her in person, so I did at 19. I took a bus to PA and had this weird relationship. Her ex-girlfriend was always around, and then after some bad stuff happened down there, her ex and their friend were all yelling and screaming at me, getting in my face, just really scary mental and emotional abuse, and I thought I was going to die. I came home. So we ended up talking again and, of course, getting back together. She came and got me with another girl and her ex. I didn't know at the time that the other girl was the one she had lied to as well. I ended up being emotionally, mentally, and physically abused in the time back in PA. I finally came back home and severed all connections so I could heal from this situation. Years later, the ex-girlfriend contacted me. She was married to a guy and had children at this point, and I told her she had the wrong person and I didn't know anyone by that name. Now, to me, I've never understood the catfishing thing. I know it happens. I'm honestly not, I'm a huge fan of the show too, by the way. But I still don't understand what drives people to catfish other people. I actually was recently a victim of catfishing, not as though someone catfished me, but some girl messaged me on Facebook saying that a girl had been using my pictures and been posing as a sugar mama. I did not believe her at first until she actually sent me screenshots and like this little video of her like flicking through messages, conversations with this fucking lady. So I still have no idea who this lady is. The number is a New Jersey number, and the girl who messaged me is actually from Iowa or Illinois, not Iowa. Um, I, you know, and it's actually just a recent thing that's happened in this last week. So this is literally just happened within a week or so. I texted the number from what I saw on the video, but I haven't gotten a response back. I want to be flattered with being used as a catfish, but it's not okay when that person uses pictures of you and your kid. So she was also taking pictures of me and my daughter that I had posted and using them to gain this person's like trust or whatever, or use my daughter in a story. I'm not fucking okay with that. That pisses me right off. You can use my pictures all you want, but if you must, please, for the fucking Lord, keep my kid out of it. I'm still trying to figure out who this person is, so that's kind of like a process. But seriously, guys, can you not catfish other people and don't be a fucking dick about it? So this other story is from another girl. That's my whole spiel on catfishing, and I fucking hate it. And it's just, I literally have never, this is the first time it's happened to me, and it's fucking weird. So anyways, next story for you. Again, going back into that, I'm not going to use the, she said this, he said this, even though I kind of flip-flopped one of the other stories, but all right. So it says, so I had a guy tell me that nannying was not a real job and that I was probably getting screwed over with benefits and taxes, and that he could only be with someone who would pull their own weight. So then I continued to tell him all about how I own my own home, I pay taxes, and I have full benefits. And then he continued to get very angry about the fact that I would not take out my nose ring because it took away from my beauty and made it so that I was a girl that he couldn't bring home to his mama. I had another guy whose fetish was Major Bush and nasty stinking farts directly on his face. To each his own. Fucking weird. And this other guy, this is the last story for her, is she started talking on OkCupid to this guy. He had one of those profiles where you can't really tell if they're ugly or just bad at taking pictures. I had those people before. We talked for a couple weeks. I really liked him. This girl and I went out for Cinco de Mayo, and this one guy would not leave us alone, and he offered to come, meet us to get rid of him, but we just went home anyways. When I went to Portland and got lost, and he lived nearby. So he met up with me and walked on the beach. He was absolutely gross. Looked nothing like his pictures, but I was nice and hung out. I needed to pee, so I ran to his beach cottage to pee, opened the door, and he's legit at the door listening to me pee. So he shows me out to the highway, and I go home. Over the next week or so, I detach more and more, talking less, making excuses not to see him. Something just didn't feel right, so I was trying to get away slowly. He realizes I'm not interested, and he flips out. He starts nonstop texting me, offers to pay me for sex, all this shit. I block him from texting, so he starts messaging me on Facebook, stalking my friends and sending me messages about them. He would deactivate Facebook so I couldn't block him, reactivate message, and then deactivate. That's fucking crazy. Come on, guys. Really? Now, there are many, many stories out there, I'm sure, of this shit fucking happening. And as you can see, it's not just happening to women. It's happening to men as well. I don't know what drives someone to be creepy or that pushy in messages, especially to people you don't know at all. I understand that, sometimes the safety and not saying stuff face to face can cause people to get a little bit more ballsy with their words. I know I'm way more comfortable talking via text message or just regular message versus actually in person. I'm way more awkward to talk to in person. I can have a full-blown fucking conversation with someone over text message and be super comfortable with it. And then in person, I shut the fuck down. It's just, there has to be some form of morals that go into talking to someone or some kind of social tact. But this is why I wanted to bring this subject up. because it's happening to so many different people out there. And at least for me, I like knowing that I'm not actually alone in this and not actually, the only person this shit's happening to. Dating is a weird and confusing thing to try to navigate, and it can get super complicated between trying to hide certain parts of your personality to attract someone, to those who go as far as catfishing somebody. There's just so much out there. You don't know who to trust and who isn't going to wind up being the person, the crazy person. Again, I can tell you there's plenty of guys out there that'll say I'm the crazy one. I have fucked up so many times before in the past, and I will keep making mistakes, as I keep dating, or at least, trying to date. Unfortunately, I've also had to navigate with a lot of crazy as well. But, this about kind of wraps up this episode. Thank you all so much for listening, continuing to listen, sharing your craziness with me. And as I said in the beginning, I really could not be doing this without you guys. Next week's going to be another change of pace, and then it will be back to your regularly scheduled craziness. Next week, I'm going to try to go into some stories about where me, was the asshole. Not in the same way as the stories from today, but I was definitely an asshole to quite a few people. I have no shame in admitting that, and I can definitely admit when I'm in the wrong. Usually it comes too late, and I regret the things I've said or done after the fact when that person is no longer speaking to me. But I do have a few stories to kind of share on that. And definitely if you guys have any stories you want to share or comments, just let me know. I always love the feedback. I love hearing from you. As promised, I do have an email account set up for the podcast as well. It's thiscouldbeatrainwreck@gmail.com. Original, I know. Worked on it all day. But feel free to email me there for any questions, suggestions, any stories of your own even. It's been super fucking fantastic and fun. I'm still, trying to work through a bunch of kinks. If you follow this on YouTube, you'll see that I have a really shitty movie maker because I suck and I don't want to pay for anything. Currently, I have no money, so, whatever. I did get it up on Spotify. I got this up on Stitcher as well. I still have it on my Blubrry account, which is my original hosting site. I'm working on Apple Podcasts. I realized today that I never actually hit the submit button, so that's my own fault. Could have been solved way sooner. But seriously, have a wonderful day, night, whatever you're doing. And thank you so much for fucking listening. And I can't wait to bring you another episode next week. And again, if you have any questions, stories, comments, whatever, feel free to email, feel free to message me, do whatever. So till next time, have a good one.